because then you will have to fight with it. And staying there may not require that much of struggle with you. And that is why human brain is stuck there. And of course, moving ahead or moving on is not easy, but it is not impossible. And the very first step to actually let go of something is to change the story we are telling ourselves. Okay, like we have talked about that the self dialogue which we have, right, it turns into our own identity. If we have failed sometime, we call ourselves failure, and that is very wrong thing to do, because we are teaching our brain to call and to identify oneself as failure. But if we change the story, the identity changes, the reflection changes, and even the results change. And it is not only that we need to let go of a person, it is very important to let go of the stories which we have in our head. Like, I'm not enough, I'm a failure, people always leave me, I'm not good enough for anyone. So these stories which we have, we need to leave them. And how can we leave them? We need to change them. Because something which has temporary happened, and a temporary event cannot form our permanent identity. Failing once does not make you a failure. Feeling afraid does not make you weak. And any thought which you have is not a fact. We might have hundreds of thoughts, okay, and most of the thoughts strike us when we are alone, when we are at a down place, when we are hurt, in pain. There are many things which come to our mind. They are not factual. And to tell you the truth, the most liberating feeling you'll ever have is that you do not allow your thoughts to define you around your worst moments. So stop building your identity. And one of the most important things we need to do to have this art of letting go is to let go of our own old self. Stop holding your old version to yourself. In our lives, in every phase, we need a different us. Okay, like, you can be a person who's frightful of coming on stage and speaking to people, but you cannot have that identity throughout your life. Okay, you might be an introvert at one point of time in your life, and then you become extrovert, and then again a phase came where you became an introvert or ambivert, right? So nothing is fixed. So stop being that one defined self which you have made yourself in your head throughout your life. A person lives fully only when he continuously keeps evolving, changing, and transforming. If you're stuck at one place, then actually you're not growing. So stop being that old version of yourself, once who had failed, once who was disappointed, once who had a loss. You are not the same person. You need not stick on to that identity so strongly that you are not able to have the joy of the present life, because growth requires goodbyes, right? And that not only to the old events, the old places, the old people, but also you need to say goodbye to your old self, which is no more serving you, which is not helping you to grow further or to have a life which you always wanted to. Every meaningful chapter changes you. The question is whether that change is going to make you bitter or better. So now let's see, what do emotionally strong people do in such situations, and how do they empower themselves with the art of letting go. It is not that they don't feel any emotions, or they don't feel the pain or hurt. They do. They cry also, they feel the grief also, they are disappointed at times, they feel that feeling of being upset, they miss the people who have gone, right? But they do not let that temporary thing turn into their permanent identity. That is the difference. Instead of asking the question that why did it happen to me, they ask that what did it teach me. And here the focus changes. See, when we are talking about a situation where we are always asking why did it happen to me, do I meet such kind of people, it is us as victims. Okay, our focus is on victimhood. Okay, we are treating ourselves as victim. But when we ask another question, and that is that what did it teach me, our focus shifts to something else, and here we become the observer of our own thoughts. Earlier we were victims, and now just with the change of question, the focus changed to being an observer. So when we observe life, when we observe thoughts, everything changes. We become more self aware. And then we come to a position where our pain is not a prison. Our pain actually becomes a teacher. And the choice is ours. Yes, the choice is very, very hard. Okay, to choose pain as a teacher, it's very hard. But again, I say it is something which can be done. It's possible. And when you do it, it's really, really powerful. Get back your life. You become the controller of your life. You become the main lead of your life. You become the person who is the main character, the director, and the person who writes the script of your life. You are not on the mercy of others. You're not on the mercy of any event. You're not on the mercy of an old identity. You really become powerful. So let's sum this up. See, if we want to let go of something, we need to change our mindset to asking a question that what did it teach us? Instead of asking why did it happen to me? Before trying to change our future, we need to change this into acceptance. We need to accept it. We should not deny it that it happened, but okay, I don't feel about it. No, you need to accept that something bad had happened. Somebody who was not very appropriate for you had come into your life. You have actually suffered some loss. You need to accept that, acknowledge it, think about it, what it taught you, and then you need to say, I felt the pain, I suffered, but now I am ready to move on in my life. The second thing which you have to do is that you need to start living in the present. Whatever you are, whatever you will do today is going to make an impact on what you will be in future. Your past is not your master, your present is. So you have to be focused in your present. What you do today will define your tomorrow, as what you did earlier had defined today. Today, let's make right choices. Let's stand in right identities so that we can have and build a future of our own choice. And the third one is start communicating with yourself in honesty, in authenticity. Okay, you need to notice your thoughts. You need to start talking to yourself. Replace that shame with responsibility. Why me is not to be asked. What now is your responsibility? That one thing, that one question is going to take you from the place of helplessness to the place of action. Because you cannot receive something new when you're holding and grabbing onto something what's gone. And now I would like to leave you with one thought that it might not be today that you forget, okay? And that's completely okay. Maybe today is not the day where you completely let go of your past. But yes, today is the day where you decide, okay, that you will stop carrying the weight of your past anymore. Because life never erases our past, it remains there. But life tells us that don't stay or live in that past. The strongest people are not the people who have never fallen in life, but those are the people who do not carry the mistakes of yesterday to tomorrow, which is holding you back. So ask one simple question, that what is it today when you start changing, and write down your answer, because this question is actually going to be the starting of your healing journey. Okay, when you write, things become clearer to you, and clarity brings self-awareness, and self-awareness is the point when you start healing. And if this video has talked to your heart, then share this with somebody who may need to hear these words today. And if you are on the journey to strengthen your mindset, elevate your presence, and transform the way you communicate with yourself and with the world, then subscribe to A Winning Life. Until next time, remember, the moment you stop carrying something which is not serving you is the very moment when you create space for something which has been waiting for you.